Solo travel can be daunting, it can be overwhelming. And for those of you who's planning to do your first solo travel this year in 2025, I have 5 tips that will make your first solo travel that much easier. My first solo travel was about 10 years ago when I was 26. I had my first job right after university, and after almost 2 years of working there, I had this insane urge to see the world, to travel, to see how other countries are, to kind of open up my mind. After close to 2 years of working there, I quit my job, and 2 weeks after that, I set out on my first solo travel. Before that, I've never traveled alone anywhere, and the furthest I've ever been was like Indonesia. Singapore to Indonesia is like really near. And that eagerness to travel and not being able to persuade anyone else to quit their job to travel with me forced me to travel alone. And through that, I learned a lot of things that I'm going to share with you, the top 5 that will help you do your first solo travel. So the first tip would be to travel in a familiar destination. It could be a neighboring country. It could be a country that you've been to before with your family or with your friends. Or it could be another city or another province in your own country. Why is it important to travel in a familiar country? Is because you're familiar with the language, the food, the culture, the place, and you don't get too bogged down by all these different factors, and you can focus on traveling alone for now. And that would really help ease your mind and focus on being alone, because being alone is not easy. Not a lot of people can do that. A lot of people can get fidgety, they don't know what to do if you're alone, or you got nobody to talk to and they're too afraid to talk to other people. All these thoughts will become very, very loud when you're alone, and you don't want it to be piled up by all these other factors such as language barriers and different foods and different culture and getting lost. So take it step by step and choose a familiar destination. Tip number 2, use hostels as accommodations. For a lot of people, at least a lot of people I know, they are not used to hostels. They always stay in hotels when they travel. But as a solo traveler and first-time solo traveler, hostels are your best friends, because hostels are the place where you meet different travelers from all over the world with different stories, different adventures to share. And what I really love about hostels is every hostel has this kind of communal shared space where people kind of hang out to eat or to chit chat, to meet new people. And this communal area are the place where you meet the best people. You will learn more about where they're from, you'll learn more about the destination you're in, you learn how to travel to different cities, how to travel within the country. You generally would learn so many things from different travelers. And the thing about hostels is also the receptions are usually very social, and they're usually very helpful with providing certain information, even more so than hotels. So they'll tell you how to get to a different bus to a different city, where the nearest restaurant is, the nearest food place is, and what's popular around the area. So hostels is like a place with a myriad of information that could help you ease into solo traveling that much better. Tip number 3, travel light. You might be used to carrying around luggages when you travel, but if you're on a solo travel, I suggest you invest in a good backpack. And I wouldn't suggest you to get a huge backpack like a 65 liter. That's way too much. When I was traveling solo for the first time, I got too overzealous. I bought like a 65 liter backpack, and when you buy a big bag, you fill it as much as you can, no matter what the size is. If you buy a 50 liter, you'll fill up a 50 liter. If you buy a 60 liter, you'll fill up a 60 liter. For me, I like to travel around with a backpack that I can carry on a flight. I don't like to get separated from my backpack, so I like to have it close to me at all times. I don't want to deal with lost luggages and lost items or missing the flight and your bag is somewhere else. I don't want to deal with that. So for me, I like to simplify things. I carry around like a 45 liter backpack. I probably could go smaller, but 45 liter is probably like the max I could carry on with. Having around a backpack will make you more mobile. You're able to walk further, walk at different terrains, stairs, up slope, down slope. It will also make you more independent. You don't want to be lunging around too heavy of a bag or luggage and having to ask for help. You want to be as independent as you can, carry a backpack that you can manage, keep it as light as possible, and be mobile. Number 4, carry around a journal. Traveling solo can be mentally very taxing. It is not easy to be alone, especially if you're not used to it. And having a journal really helps. Being alone makes your thoughts that much louder. Whatever you're thinking is suddenly amplified like 10 times, and it's really loud. And at the same time, being alone in a cafe or in a restaurant can feel a little bit awkward. Or maybe even in your hostel, being alone can feel a little bit awkward. Having a journal really helps you pen down your thoughts, distract yourself, make yourself look not so lonely. Although it's more in your head than anything else. When I first traveled, I used to journal. Not every day, but sometimes when I'm in a long train ride or long bus ride, or sometimes I just want to pen down what I feel, what I think of certain things. It just helps to have a little book there and a pen to write it down. Having a journal at the end of the day really helps you maintain your sanity. It makes you less awkward. As time goes on, you'll feel more and more comfortable being alone, then maybe you don't need to journal anymore. But journal in general is a good thing. So tip number 5, socialize. Try to talk to one stranger a day. I know you're taught growing up, don't talk to strangers, but when you solo travel, you kinda have to talk to strangers. And you can find a lot of new people in hostels, in a communal area, in a shared space. When you travel with friends, with family, most of the time you're traveling in that little bubble, right? You talk to each other, you entertain one another, you do things together, but you don't kind of invite external people in because you're having your own time. But traveling solo, you're able to extend yourself to other people. You can push yourself to talk to strangers, talk to other travelers. You can learn so much. And before you know it, you'll be having dinner together, you'll be going to attractions together, and you realize you really enjoy spending time with these people until you unfortunately have to separate ways, and then you find another group or some other people that you really like hanging out with, and you go separate ways. So it's more like a diverge, converge, diverge, converge. And you really learn to appreciate the quality time, although limited, with these people. And you also learn to appreciate the time you have with yourself. It's an amazing process, amazing feeling. So that's it. 5 tips that I assure you would help make your first solo travel that much easier. This will open so many doors to all the different countries that you suddenly won't have confidence to go to alone.